Jaya Gaura Nitai 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 Shri Gaura Nitai Ki Jai.
Kipa Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aarati Kashoba.
Kipa Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aarati Kashoba.
Janari Kasavane
Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotarshata His Divine Grace Sabhai Charanarinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Nitilila Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotarshata His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shri Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Shrimati Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Sankirtan Yagi Ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaura Nitai Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premananda. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Prahlad Lad Darine. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha. Shilatanga Nakhalaye. Tito Nasimha Parato Nasimho. Yato Yato Yami Tato Nasimha. Bahir Nasimho Hridaye Nasimho. Narasimha Adim Sharanam Prapadye. Avakar Kamalavare Nakham Adbhuta Shringam. Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam. Keshavadrita Hari Rupa Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. Prabhu Jai Jagadish Hare. केशवदृता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे
केशवदृता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे
नरसिंह भगवान की, वत्सलाल प्रहलाद महाराज की, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंद।
Hare Krishna. Welcome, my name is Krshna Dulal Prabhu. To welcome you all to our Sunday Peace program here in Ottawa, the residence of our beloved Shri Shri Gaura Nitai Ki Jaya. We're looking super sparkly today. Wow. All right, cool. So maybe before I continue, can I ask if there's anybody here coming for the first time? Just coming for the first time? Welcome, welcome. Wow. Can I ask how you learned about this gathering here today? Was it through online, Google, through a friend? How did you learn about this program here?
I went to a lecture yesterday.
Oh, at the university?
Yes.
Very cool, wonderful, thanks for coming. What about you folks in the back there?
We've been here before, but this is the first time that we are here for the
Sunday program. Yes, okay. And yourself?
The lecture from yesterday.
Also from yesterday. Wow, wonderful. Thank you also for coming. Let's give our new guests a round of applause. We have a little gift for you as well. Thank you. So, what just happened right now, some of you may be wondering, it's kind of a new cultural experience for you, possibly. We were engaging in something called Kirtan. And what that is pretty much we meditate. Right? So we're meditating, we're repeating the Lord's name in a musical format. Right? And our culture, our philosophy professes that the name of the Lord is non-different from the form of the Lord as well. Right? This is something that's actually shared across many other scriptures that are out there, authentic scriptures. And similarly in the Bible, it says in the beginning there was a Word, and the Word was God. Right? And so this is kind of what we do. This movement has been brought to us by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. As you can see, we have a Murti on the far right over there. He's kind of like our grandfather, grand teacher. And he brought this movement, which was predominant in the East, to the West in the late 1960s. And on the order of his spiritual master, his guru, his teacher, he told them, take this message, take this universal practice to the English-speaking world. And he took it very much to heart. And at the age of 70, he just, he was a sannyasi, he was a renounced order of life, in the renounced order of life. And he said, I have to go, I have to do this. He had this burning desire, burning fire to act on the instructions of his teacher. And he booked a cargo ship. He went on a cargo ship, the Jaladuta, and it was a quite long voyage to cross the ocean. And he arrived at Boston Harbor. And the rest is history. Right? Within a small time, I think 10 years or so, Prabhupada and his disciples opened up something like 108 temples worldwide, circumambulated the globe many times. And now we've got hundreds of temples, if not maybe, inching up to probably 1,000 or so around the world. And very much, by his example, we have a lot of practitioners, a lot of yogis, bhakti yogis, who really were drawn by the purity of this teacher, of this sadhu. And today, and every day, in fact, actually every Sunday, it's a tradition that all around the world there's this famous Sunday feast, also known as the Love Feast program. And this is pretty much where we try to cultivate a personal relationship with the Lord. And we do that by, as you can see, the lordships, Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda. They're dressed so nicely with so much attention, with different jewels, different paraphernalia are being offered to them, such as water, fire, incense. We had a fan, peacock feather. Some foodstuffs were being offered to him as well. And after it's offered, at the end of the program, we'll share some food with everybody here. We'll have a feast. It's vegetarian food that has been offered to the Lord. And this is the movement, essentially. This is the mission. This is our, Srila Prabhupada said, this is, and his spiritual master, and all of the different acharyas and teachers in the line coming from Krishna, that this is the occupation or the purpose of the soul, of every individual. And it says that we are all eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. So we're eternal, the soul never dies. We have full of knowledge, we have tons of knowledge, and we're meant to be happy. And this is unlocked when we engage in the process of devotional service, when we come together, when we chant together, when we try to please the Lord, please our Father. And when we do that, then this happiness comes out. We feel it. It's an active process. It's an experiment. You can try it. It's not just a doctrine. Once you engage in it, you start to feel, oh, this is a really nice experience. And by doing so, by trying to cultivate this relationship with the Lord through service, we essentially come to the platform that we're in this world, but we're not of this world. And we see so many examples. This world is full of a lot of anxieties and miseries. There's a lot of people trying to take ownership of different things. To step on somebody else's lot. There's wars over where the fence is going to be. There's war where the resources are going to be. And it's just pretty much everybody's trying to be number one. And this is what our society teaches us. And the philosophy of Krishna consciousness is quite contrary. And I won't continue just speaking on this tangent too much, because there's something that I wanted to share with you today. We're going to read from Bhagavad Gita, and we'll hear from Srila Prabhupada directly. But, so I'm just going to go through the program. So right now we'll have a bit of a discussion from the Bhagavad Gita, and then after that we'll have some more Kirtan, some chanting, and then we'll have some prasadam, which is the food that has been offered to the Lord. We'll share that together. And we won't go too long, because I heard there's a plan to go out on Harinam today. So we'd like to go out and chant on the streets. So we'll get into that. Okay, so we'll start off by singing Jaya. Two microphones. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Radha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Hare Krishna. We're reading from Bhagavad Gita today, chapter 9, text 2. Chapters.
Hare
Prabhupada ki
Jaya.
So, this chapter is entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge. It's like this. Raja Vidya Raja Guyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Dharmyam Susukam Kartum Avyayam. We could do the word for word together. Raja Vidya, the king of education. Raja Guyam, the king of confidential knowledge. Pavitram, the purest. Idam, this. Uttamam, transcendental. Pratyaksha, by direct experience. Avagamam, understood. Dharmyam, the principle of religion. Susukam, very happy. Kartum, to execute. Avyayam, everlasting. Okay, here's the translation. This is Lord Krishna speaking to Arjuna. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. Now, I'm not going to read the whole purport because it's a really long purport. I'll read certain sections of it. So I'll start off by saying invocation prayers to Guru and Parampara, and then we'll dive into the purport. Om Agyanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalaka Chakshurmutanaya Tasma Shri Okam Karoti Vakshanam Pangum Nagayadagiri Yakritatam Bhante Shivaram Dinatanam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutala Shimata Niranjana Swami Tinamini Anahata Prayasana Prabhupadasya Tuste Sankirtan Prabhiti Artai Hate Shivarave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutala Shimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshi Shunyavadi Vasachakarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. Okay, so Prabhupada gives a purport to this translation. Again, I'll read the translation. He says, this knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization. It is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. This chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called the king of education, because it is the essence of all doctrines and philosophies explained before. Among the principal philosophers in India are Gautama, Kanada, Kapila, Yajnavalkya, Sandilya, and Vaishvanara. And finally, there's Vyasadeva, the author of the Vedanta Sutra. So there is no dearth of knowledge in the field of philosophy or transcendental knowledge. Now the Lord says that this 9th chapter is the king of all such knowledge, the essence of all knowledge that can be derived from the study of the Vedas and the different kinds of philosophy. It is the most confidential because confidential or transcendental knowledge involves understanding the difference between the soul and the body. And the king of all confidential knowledge culminates in devotional service. So let's pause here for a second. Let's try to summarize this. So Prabhupada here is saying that this is, I guess in a sense, the most confidential knowledge because it involves understanding the difference between the body and soul. Right? Okay, so there's a difference between the body and soul. So this is presented here. And the king of such confidential knowledge culminates in devotional service. Right? So that's the king of knowledge. Once we find out that there's a difference between the body and soul, and we were just giving this introduction how there's the soul within the body, and we're learning that it's eternal, full of knowledge, right? So it's connection with the knowledge here, and full of bliss. It says, and the king of all confidential knowledge culminates in devotional service. Now I looked up this word, confidential. Does anybody know what the word confidential means? Some definitions. Secret. Okay, you got a secret. It's confidential. You have a stamp on an envelope. Okay. What else? What's another definition? Yes.
Meant only for a few people.
Okay, meant only for a few. Okay. What else? Any other thoughts? What does confidential mean?
It's a trusted relationship.
Trusted relationship. That's another word. Yeah. I looked up one definition. It says very intimate knowledge. I think that's very intimate, very personal. Right? So I thought that was a nice definition, right? Because we're talking about the most secret knowledge right now, but we're talking about it in an assembly of people here. It's not going to be a secret much longer, is it? Right? If we keep on talking about it. But Krishna is saying here, this is the most confidential. This is like the cream of the cream, right? This is the stuff, right? There's a lot of knowledge out there, but this is the heart. This is the most intimate. This is the core. This is the essence of all knowledge. And those of you who are familiar a little bit with Vedanta Sutra, so Vedanta, the Vedas, right? There is so much knowledge that's out there. You could probably spend your entire life trying to study what's in the Vedas, and you wouldn't be able to cover all of it. There would not be enough years for you to know it all. And it has knowledge about medicine, right? You may have heard of Ayurveda. You may have heard of, astrology, right? It comes from the Vedas. There's, astronomy. There's all kinds of sciences that are there too. There's a lot. And we just have a small, just a small part of it. As you can see in the back, we've got some books there from the Bhagavatam. This is known as the heart of the Vedas, right? So this is the most confidential knowledge. Why? Because it talks about specifically the subject matter that pertains to the soul, to the body, and to our relationship with devotional service, our relationship with the Lord, the Creator. And Prabhupada continues, generally people are not educated in this confidential knowledge. They are educated in external knowledge. As far as ordinary education is concerned, people are involved with so many departments: politics, sociology, physics, chemistry, mathematics, astronomy, engineering, etc. There are so many departments of knowledge all over the world, and many huge universities. But there is unfortunately no university or educational institution where the science of the spirit soul is instructed. Yet the soul is the most important part of the body. Without the presence of the soul, the body has no value. Still, people are placing great stress on the bodily necessities of life, not caring for the vital soul. So, just wanted to share a little bit of experience with you. As most of you know, this week was pretty action-packed. We had a lot of saintly association this week, different swamis coming, different classes, words were spoken, and there's something here pretty much every day of the week, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. And what did you think, devotees? Did you like it? Was it nice? And so, I got to, there's many nice things that I could probably spend the entire night talking about. It was just a really wonderful experience of just sharing with my friends about what they liked and what really touched them, and it was really inspiring. And I got to meet a new god brother of mine. Right? His name was Achinta Swarup. So he came in on Thursday, and his role was he wanted to come to help drive around, my Guru Maharaj, right? Because he came and he went to Montreal on Friday, and then he was continuing to go to Hartford. And I thought, what a nice young man. He was maybe 10, 12 years younger than me. And, he came and he looked like, quite a big guy, And I learned that he went to school in Mayapur in India for about 10 years. He spent 10 years of his life there. I mean, he grew up in the West, but then he spent 10 years of his life there, starting from 12 years old, until, we're 12 years old plus 10, what's that, any mathematicians, 22? Until he was 22. See, like me, I don't know too much about math and all of these sociology, physics, chemistry. It's difficult for me. And I was talking to him about it too. He says, yeah, it was really nice. I learned about, Vaishnava culture, and it was like it was a gurukul, right? So they go and they live, in the place of the guru, and they learn how to perform all kinds of sacrifices. They learn they study the Vedas, quite every day. That's their focus. They do a lot of hands-on work. They know how to farm. They know how to do a lot of things, and that's probably why he's so big, and built. But he was telling me, the one thing that I wish that we did, I wish that we learned a little bit more math. Probably a little more useful for him. But anyway, so he was here, and I was just asking, well, what is it that you do for a living? And he says, well, I work at the White House. I work at the White House? And he says, yeah, I protect the president. That's what I do, right? And I was thinking, like, whoa, right? That's pretty cool. He says, yeah, I applied when I got back, and they did all the tests that they have to do, right? That, they put you probably for the polygraphs or whatever. And, they were just some of the questions that they were asking. I'm sure they were pretty blown away. They said, you've never touched alcohol in your life? You've never, never smoked marijuana or pot? And just really upstanding character. And this just shows that this knowledge, it really transcends all spheres, all realms, right? Because it teaches character. It teaches how to build good character. And so when you go out to the world, any job or any place that you see, people can recognize that, and that has a lot of value. It's a little bit digression from the verse, but I wanted to comment on that. And going down into the purport here, Prabhupada talks a little bit about Narada Muni, right? Because we had a lot of saintly association this week. People were coming. There was a verse in the Vedanta Sutra. This is also described in the following words. Quote, devotional service is so potent that simply by engaging in the activities of devotional service, one becomes enlightened without a doubt. A practical example of this can be seen in the previous life of Narada, who in that life happened to be the son of a maidservant. He had no education, nor was he born into a high family. But when his mother was engaged in serving great devotees, Narada also became engaged, and sometimes, in the absence of his mother, he would serve the great devotees himself. Narada personally himself says that his previous life to his disciple, he talks about his previous life to his disciple, Vyasadeva. He says that while engaged as a boy servant for those purified devotees during the 4 months of their stay, he was intimately associating with them. Sometimes those sages left remnants of food on their dishes, and the boy who would wash their dishes wanted to taste the remnants. So he asked the great devotees for their permission. And when they gave it, Narada ate those remnants and consequently became freed from all sinful reactions. As he went on eating, he gradually became as pure-hearted as the sages. The great devotees relished the taste of unceasing devotional service to the Lord by hearing and chanting, and Narada gradually developed the same taste. Narada says further, by associating with the sages, Narada got the taste for hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, and he developed a great desire for devotional service. Therefore, as described in the Vedanta Sutra, Prakascha Karmani Abhish Ashat. If one is engaged simply in the acts of devotional service, everything is revealed to him automatically, and he can understand. This is called Pratyaksha, directly perceived. There's another verse also. This is in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where it is stated, by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. This confident, firm faith, favorable to the discharge of devotional service, is called Shraddha. Also, there's another verse in the Bhagavad Gita, 9:22, where the Lord says, Ananyas chintayantamam yayana paripasate. So Maharaj was talking about this verse also. He mentioned it in this class. He says, but those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. There was one story of two Brahmin couples, and one couple, two of them, right? Two couple, and they're pretty poor. They didn't have. Sometimes it was just even difficult for them to get food on the street. You know, Arjuna Acharya, so the name of this one Brahmana, he would spend time every day and he was writing about Bhagavad Gita, translating Bhagavad Gita. And he came upon this verse, and there's a translation here which says, Vahamiyaham, right at the end, which is translated as the Lord says, I personally carry what they lack and preserve what they have. And he was looking at this verse and he says, no, he's not personally going to come and carry what I lack, right? He'll make some kind of arrangement in my life that, you know, things are going to be okay and it's going to turn it around. And so he was, you know, went out on his pilgrimage, going out trying to you know, beg and preach and to do that. And while he was away, two boys came up to the house, and the Brahmin's wife, she opened the door. And it turned out that it was actually Krishna Balaram that delivered a whole bunch of fruits, right? And, you know, plenty of food that would, you know, provide for them for days. And they came and they delivered it to him. And when he came back, you know, he realized from his wife that it was none other than Krishna, right? That personally came to take care of his devotees and to provide what they were lacking. It was there. And so then, obviously, when he was translating, he put it as personally, the Lord comes and carries what they lack. So, and Arjuna says this, another verse, 9:31, he says, you know, about his devotees, he says, declare it boldly. Krishna even says it, my devotee never perishes. The Lord always takes care of him. So I thought that these were some nice words, some nice verses that glorify devotional service and the potency of devotional service. And I thought it was relevant because we just had like this big influx of association, of hearing about the Lord, of seeing people who really practice what they preach. And it's so powerful when you have the opportunity to participate in activities like this, because even if you're unable to, or you lack some knowledge, or are deficient in some way, if you make the endeavor to simply come and listen, to participate in such activities, you can just get automatically picked up and transported to another platform, to a platform where you can actually attain pure devotional service, just by the mercy of saintly persons. Because this is their only focus, this is their only goal. Their goal is to perform devotional service. And when we talked about devotional service, pure devotional service is explicitly only reserved for the Lord. Is when you do stuff only thinking about the Lord. And when you think about the Lord or do something for the Lord, not for yourself, because everybody's doing things for themselves in this world, that's what it's about here. But when you do things for the Lord, automatically the Lord, it's saying that He takes care of all your subsidiary duties. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Now obviously the devotee's not thinking, okay, I'm just going to chant Hare Krishna all the time, and I hope that the Lord's going to come and mow my grass today, because it really needs to be cut, right? He's not thinking that way. The devotee's just thinking, he's not thinking, well, if I serve the Lord, then I don't have to do anything, right? He's thinking, he's giving it all that he has. He performs his duties that he needs to do. Arjuna, who's on the battlefield, he was always performing his duty. He didn't just give up his bow and arrow and go chant in the forest and hope that the war was going to be won. He was active. He was doing his duty. But whatever he did, whatever activity, duty, the activities that he was doing, he completely dedicated it to the service of the Lord. And so now we're going to have this opportunity again, because coming up just 3 weeks from now, and it felt like this week was like a festival. Like I was talking to Krshna Dulal Prabhu like on Saturday, I'm like, I think I slept till about like 10 o'clock, right? And some other devotees, I heard we came back from Montreal at like 12:30, because there was a Kirtan festival in Montreal, and for some reason Akshay Prabhu jumped in the car to go to Toronto right after, and he's somehow here today on Sunday in Ottawa, so I don't know how you do it. But you know, some devotees were there. I was speaking to my father, you know, that came with us, you know, to Montreal. We're there for the morning program, cooking breakfast at 4:30 in the morning, right? So it's just so exciting. It's just really, it's like, this, for me, it feels like it's just a place to be. And so anyways, it was such an infusion festival this past week, and we have another festival coming up. And some would say that this will be a little bit more of a endeavor, because there's a lot of parts to be put together. And we have probably about 250 guests that are confirmed to be coming now, or up to about 250, starting on Wednesday, August 16th, going to Sunday, the 20th, so 4 or 5 days. And we'll have some guests that are coming from afar, probably I think 3 or 4 Swamis. Bhakti Marg Swami will be there, Sundar Chaitanya Swami, Bhakti Raghava Swami is going to be there. We have Mataji Prabhu coming from New Vrindavan too, who had so much personal time with Srila Prabhupada, and who'll be sharing some of her memories and stories. And yeah, it's just, you know, many other Vaishnavas coming. Our friends from Toronto, from Montreal. And it'll be days of Kirtan, days of seminars, Prasadam, Harinam, outreach. So it's a really good chance to get really involved. If you haven't signed up yet, this is your plug for today. So it's vaishnavasangha.com. There are still some spaces. We've got some hotels, a few, maybe about 10 rooms that are still reserved. If you'd like to come and participate. It's a beautiful place, nice lake, and some kids' activities too throughout the day. So this is, again, this opportunity for us to get in on it, and yeah, be happy, be blissful, share with others. You know, if you know anybody else who might be interested in something like this, and who needs it, and Hare Krishna. That's what I got to say. So I thought I'll finish here, and I'll see if maybe anybody has any reflections, questions, thoughts, maybe something you wanted to share from this past week that touched you, that you really liked. I'd love to hear it from you. So Akshay Prabhu is going to kick it off.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So like the base lecture was the second day of the H.S. Niranjana Swami's lecture. It was so awesome and it was touched everyone's heart. I heard this from everyone, even from you and other Prabhujis also. So like they told us a very good thing, that there is a 2 ways to be loved by God or to love the God. So only the 2 ways. First is the devotional services, purest devotional services, and the association of devotees. Once you come into these circumstances in this circle, so what are the measures we have to see for the progress of our devotional services and for our association? Is there any, for my knowledge I'm asking that, is there any peak of devotional services or something? Or how can we measure ourselves that I'm doing progress into that?
So you're asking me, is there any specific things that you have to do in your devotional service, or certain activities, or?
Yeah, so I'm in a circle that right now, I like to do more devotional services as much as I can. So I just wanna see that how much progress I am doing into that. So there are any measure or something that I can see, what are the steps or where I am. So what is the indication or that we can see?
Are you happy?
100% too much.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good there. I was Akshay Prabhu, it makes me laugh. We went to Montreal, right? And I was talking with Krshna Dulal Prabhu. And anytime you look at Akshay Prabhu, he's got this big smile on his face. And it just makes you want to smile. And Krshna Dulal Prabhu is doing, I bet he's like that when he's sleeping too.
This makes a smile every time.
So it's perceptible, Devotional service is supposed to make you happy. You're supposed to be happy, right? If you're happy, that's great. And if you're making other Vaishnavas happy, right, that's also great. It's a perceivable experience. And sometimes you may go through struggles. That doesn't mean that you're aggressing or it may be difficult. Again, it's said that Krishna sometimes he gives you kisses, and sometimes he gives you kicks, right? Because sometimes we need some kicks. We become a little complacent, but that doesn't mean that's part of the learning process. Sometimes things don't go perfect, but that's okay. We should become resolute, like Dhruva Maharaj. We're reading about this in Bhagavatam. He's determined. He's the example of determination, right? He wants to make a connection with the Lord. So despite all challenges that are there, we should just continue and continue taking association. That's another big thing, because that will help us that will help us make advancement. So just like you were coming to the events, different events, doing service with others, solitary service is nice, but doing service together with other devotees, that's where the real exchange happens. So I've seen you come to some morning programs sometimes and different activities, helping in the kitchen. This is part of the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Alright, well, Hare Krishna. Thank you for the great class. I just want to share a bit of my experience over the last week. Like you said, it was this amazing festival, and just the best way to come back to Ottawa, actually. Yeah, I just want to share the power of this bhakti that we're doing, because I was at Toronto Ratha Yatra, which is a big festival in itself. Then we got back here at like 2 in the morning on Monday morning, and somehow just the excitement of it all, and just the energy that you get from this association of saintly people in the Kirtan, I was just like, I'm gonna just stay up for Mangal Aarti. So I just like chanted like almost all my rounds, and I went to Mangal Aarti, and then I went to sleep, not for very long. And yeah, I got sick, I got sick. The body got sick at least. But it didn't stop me. It didn't stop me. And it just proved to me just how powerful this process is, because when I had these saintly people here, and we were doing the Kirtan, I didn't feel sick at all anymore. I was ecstatic, I was like, it's amazing. And then I didn't get much sleep, because the program would end late, and I would still come to Mangal Aarti, and everybody says, you gotta rest, you're sick, you gotta rest. I didn't sleep much, but I felt fine. I was fine in the morning. It blew me away. I was like, I would think that I wouldn't feel okay, but I was fine. I don't know. I just wanted to share, when the body is not doing so well, it makes me notice just how powerful the Kirtan and everything is, because it's like it totally surpasses the physical level. And all of us, you know what I mean? Like nothing else can do that. When you're sick, you just want to lay down, you don't want to do much. But this is the only thing that can make me feel like I didn't have a cold at all. So that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you. It's a good plug. You have a cold, chant Hare Krishna. Best way. Beats cold effects and Advil and all that stuff. So yeah, thank you for sharing. Although I did feel a little hungover the next day after that. Maybe because I wasn't so immersed in it the next day. It passed already. But thank you. Anybody else? Oh, Harinama Prabhu. Hare Krishna. We could pass the microphone over there.
Please. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The question asked by this Prabhu, Akshish Prabhu, how we will come to know the progress what we are doing in our devotion transcendently with the Lord. So the answer for is, we should continuously chant, like Dhruva Maharaj and others, continuously chant non-stop, wherever you are going, whether driving or going to school or college, chant, chant, chant. That's it, nothing else.
Sorry.
That will clear your way.
Thank you. Yeah. Maharaj said that, I remember some of the devotees told him, sometimes I just feel like I don't have the taste to want to chant. And Maharaj is saying, that's when you really need to chant. That's when you gotta start chanting, right? Because not always do you have taste, not always do you have that. Right? But again, love means having some kind of commitment also, being dependent. It's not that you just love when it's convenient for you. You show by determination, by being committed, by being there. And this is very exemplary by the devotees in the temple here. You can see this. That's why, it's actually a science. So it's not just the concept of association, but, when you hang out with persons who have high morale, who can do that, just like when you hang out with people that are businessmen and they do that, right? It rubs off, right? So the company you keep molds the person. So this is why it's very important that we keep this kind of association, because otherwise the mind can be fickle. You know, it's open to suggestions, and that's why people have explored this science. They've what's the word I'm looking for? Exploited this knowledge, and that's why there's so many billboards on the streets. You know, because they know the mind is so susceptible. Coca-Cola, you know, go buy this, that. You know, commercials. That's why if you ever watch TV, it's more commercials than anything else, because they know how powerful, you know, the mind can be. Any other? Hi, Krishna. Oh, okay, the microphone.
Because I'm quite new here, but I just want to share because I have, watched Mahabharata, Ramayana. So I just want to share one incident from Krishna ji. You know that Vidurji, when he went to visit Vidurji, and his wife gave the banana peel, right? Because she was so happy, she was so delighted to see Krishna ji. So what she did, like in that happiness, she totally forgot what she was doing. She just giving just peel of the banana to Krishna ji, and she's throwing the banana itself. And what I want to say, like this is like our intention. I don't know you understand Hindi or not. Like our bhav. What is our bhav? What is our intention? That is important, and it's not important where we have reached. It's important what our intention is and how we are continue in that service and how much we trust.
Yes, thank you so much. Actually, Prabhupada talks about this in this verse. He said, anybody can offer something to the Lord. You could say a word of welcome. You can just say welcome to somebody, or you can offer them a mat on the floor. He said, but if you don't even have a mat to give, you could just clean the floor. Offer a place to the Lord to be able to sit. He says, Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Just give me water, leaf, flower. I will accept it, so long that it's offered with love, right? So he looks for this. Thank you. So maybe I'll finish off with, do I have it here? So I wanted to read from Prabhupada Lilamrita. So this was when Prabhupada first met his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Goswami. So Abhai's friend, so Prabhupada's friend, he was insistent. He told them, like you to come and meet. There's this saintly sadhu. He's coming and speaking. And Prabhupada was thinking, I've seen so many sadhus in the past, and when you go to India, there's like a sadhu at every corner, right, claiming a corner, and showing that they can do this magic trick and that trick, and just trying to get your money. And so he's a little bit hesitant. But this friend Naran explained that the sadhu, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati, was a Vaishnava and a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya. One of his disciples, a sannyasi, had visited the Malik house and had invited them to meet Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. A few of the Maliks had gone to see him, and he had been very much impressed. But Abai was skeptical. He said, oh no, I know all these sadhus. And it says, Naran argued that he felt that this particular sadhu was very learned, and that Abai should at least meet him and judge for himself. Abai wished that Naran would not behave this way, but finally he could no longer refuse. So Abai is Prabhupada. That was his name before he became Srila Prabhupada. Together they walked past the Parsnath Jain temple to one Utladanga with its sign, Bhakti Vinod Asana, announcing it to be the quarters of the Gaudiya Math. When they inquired at the door, a young man recognized Mr. Malik. Naran had previously given a donation and immediately escorted them up to the roof of the second floor and into the presence of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati, who was sitting and enjoying the early evening atmosphere with a few disciples and guests. Sitting with his back very straight, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati appeared tall. He was slender, his arms were long, and his complexion was fair and golden. He wore round bifocals with simple frames. His nose was sharp, his forehead broad, and his expression was very scholarly, yet not at all timid. The vertical markings of Vaishnava tilak on his forehead were familiar to Abai, as were the simple sannyas robes that draped over his right shoulder, leaving the other shoulder and half his chest bare. He wore tulsi neck beads, and the clay Vaishnava markings of tilak were visible at his throat, shoulder, and upper arms. A clean white brahminical thread was looped around his neck and draped across his chest. Abhay and Naran, having both been raised in Vaishnava families, immediately offered prostrated obeisances at the sight of the revered sannyasi. While the two young men were still rising and preparing to sit, before any preliminary formalities of conversation had begun, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta immediately said to them, "You are educated young men. Why don't you preach Lord Chaitanya's Mahaprabhu's message throughout the whole world?" So this was, at the first sight, of any formalities, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati recognized Abhay, and this is the instruction that he gave. Abhay could hardly believe what he just heard. They had not even exchanged views, yet this sadhu was telling them what they should do. Sitting face to face with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Abhay was gathering his wits and trying to gain comprehensible impression. But his person had already told them to become preachers and go all over the world. And it continues. It's a really nice Prabhupada Lamrita, 2 volumes. If you get a chance, you can read that. So, let's continue Prabhupada's mission, and we can go and share this message to the Ottawa-speaking world afterwards, after Prasadam. Those who would like to come, we'll go with some instruments, and we'll go perform Harinam Sankirtan. Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaura Nitai ki Jai. Kundalata, would you like to lead Sankirtan? Paramahamsa Pariyadhikacharya Stotha Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Hesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Pariyadhikacharya Stotha Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Goswami Maharaj Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridasta Kur Ki Prem Sigaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Mathura Dham Ki Navadvip Dham Ki Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Mayapur Dham Ki Ganga Maya Yamuna Maya Ki Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Sankirtan Yoga Ki, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki, Gaura Premananda. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. So, thank you all very much. And just a special mention, today's Sunday feast was sponsored by Mother Geet. Haribol! And also items given by Mother Purnima as well, so Boga, Haribol. Thank you. And the devotees in the kitchen who cooked also. Haribol! So the curtains will remain open for a couple of minutes. If you'd like to come up close and personal and say some prayers, feel free to do so. And prasadam will be served. And then hopefully, what time Krishna Seva do you think? 5:30 we can get? At 5:30, those who want to come and join us will gather at the front of the steps, and we're going to go on Hare. Hare Krishna.
Shri Shri Gaura Ki Jai!